Olivia was filled with dread when she noticed her cat was having difficulty walking and saw the strange black spots on his chin. She knew she had to take action and quickly took him to the vet. After running some tests, the vet took a closer look at the cat's chin and was shocked by what he saw. Without hesitation, he shouted to his assistant, "Call the police now!" Olivia began to freak out. What on earth was wrong with her beloved cat? She was filled with fear and confusion, not knowing what was causing her pet's strange symptoms. She had noticed that her cat had been acting differently lately, and she was desperate to find out what was wrong. She had taken her cat to the vet, but the vet had been unable to diagnose the issue. Olivia stood in disbelief, her eyes fixed on the strange spectacle unfolding before her. People walked into the vet room and came out as if they had seen a ghost. She desperately wanted to know the explanation behind the mysterious events that had taken place in the vet room. She was determined to get to the bottom of it, and the only thing that mattered to her was being reunited with her beloved cat. Memories of past visits flashed through her mind, where she and her cat had been together in the vet practice room without trouble. The sudden change in protocol ignited her curiosity even more. She wondered what the vet had in store for them this time. Olivia sat in the waiting room, her heart heavy with worry as she anxiously awaited news about her beloved cat. She tried to take deep breaths to calm herself, but it seemed like no matter how hard she tried, the thoughts of worst-case scenarios kept coming back. She glanced around to make sure no one was watching, and then with a newfound sense of resolve, she rose from her seat and began to make her way toward the door of the veterinarian's practice. As Olivia approached the door, her heart pounding, a sudden noise echoed down the hallway. "Shit," she thought. Panic surged within her. Swiftly, she darted into a nearby closet, concealing herself to avoid being caught by the staff. As soon as the coast was clear, she emerged from her hiding place and hastened toward the room's entrance. She had to know what was beyond the door, and so, determined to gain a better vantage point, she braced herself, took a deep breath, and slowly opened the door. As the door creaked open, suspense hung in the air, and she was met with a sight that she had never seen before. Olivia's heart skipped a beat as she came face to face with the vet, startling her to the core. Caught off guard, she stammered, I just needed to check on my cat. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to intrude." She pleaded with the vet to tell her the truth, feeling she deserved to know. The vet looked at her and paused. He was clearly thinking of his response. Finally, he spoke, "I'm sorry, but you can't be here. No one other than me and my staff is allowed to be in the same room as your cat. More than that, I can't say. You just need to be patient and wait." The vet's response left Olivia perplexed and even more curious. "Why can't you give me the information?" she pleaded. The vet was just about to respond when one of his assistants rudely interrupted them. "You have to look at this," she said, holding up a binder concealing something. As the vet's eyes fell upon the binder's contents, they began to fill with tears. His emotions were so strong that he was unable to speak. He stood there, overwhelmed by the sight before him. "Call the police now," the vet ordered his assistant, wiping away his tears swiftly. The weight of his words sank in as Olivia listened to those words, raising questions about the mysterious circumstances surrounding her cat's condition. What did the vet see in that binder, and why did it make him so emotional? The vet's lips were sealed tight under the pressure of the police, leaving Olivia frustrated in her pursuit of answers. Despite her efforts, he refused to reveal anything that could jeopardize his job. Instead, he suggested seeking answers from the police themselves. With a resolute mind, Olivia eventually chose to head to the police station. Approaching the desk where two officers sat, Olivia wasted no time in sharing her predicament. After explaining the situation, she looked at the officers with big eyes. She hoped they could shed light on the mysterious circumstances surrounding her cat. As the police officers began to respond, an unexpected revelation unfolded, leaving Olivia brimming with curiosity and anticipation. Her frustration was mounting, and she pleaded with them, "Please, just give me the information I need. I need to know, and I need to know now." Despite her pleas, the officers continued questioning her, seemingly unconvinced by her explanations. Little did Olivia know that her anger would backfire. In a desperate attempt at forgiveness, Olivia apologized, hoping that the police officers would show her mercy and let her go with a warning. She quickly got back into her car and drove as fast as she could, hoping to make it back in time to save her beloved pet. She was filled with a sense of urgency and her heart raced as she drove. She was determined to make it back in time. With a feeling of urgency coursing through her veins, she hurried to the parking lot. As she turned onto the road, an uneasy feeling crept up on her, a grim suspicion that she was being followed. A slight shiver ran down her spine, and she felt a chill run through her body. She tried to shake off the feeling of unease, but it lingered. She told herself that it was just her paranoia, that there was no one following her. But the feeling of being watched persisted. Despite her efforts, the feeling of dread remained. Curiosity and caution drove Olivia to turn into unfamiliar streets, determined to find out if the car behind her was pursuing her. When Olivia glanced into her car mirror, her heart skipped a beat. To her surprise, the persistent car was still following her. Olivia decided to stop at the side of the road. When the car finally approached, Olivia's heart raced and threatened to burst out of her chest. But a glimmer of relief broke the fear as she recognized the person behind the wheel. What was their connection? As the car approached, Olivia's concern turned to stunned relief. Charles, her veterinarian, had been the one to examine her cat earlier that day. Despite the comfort of seeing a familiar face, she was filled with confusion. Why was he following her? Olivia smiled slightly as Charles approached her car, but her smile soon faded away. The seriousness of Charles's face made Olivia cringe. Curious, she ventured to ask what was going on. Words escaped Charles momentarily until he finally said, "Please, brace yourself. What I am about to reveal will not please you." Consumed by curiosity, Olivia longed to unravel the mystery. Charles recounted his concerns, police suspicions, potential danger lurking. As Charles overheard the conversation, fragments of words echoed in his ears, "Get rid of her." Although not literal, they indicated a chilling intent. The repetition of Olivia's name reinforced his unease. This was a matter Charles could simply not ignore. And so he decided to track Olivia down and tell her in person. Fear gripped Olivia as Charles relayed the disturbing message. What hidden truths would be revealed, and how would they affect Olivia's understanding of her baffling situation? Charles paused, his mouth dry as he considered his words. He was hesitant to reveal the test results, for the uncertainty surrounding them made it difficult to know what to do. The police had taken the results, making it impossible for him to verify their accuracy. He suggested to Olivia that they try to settle the matter before he divulged the information, for the truth could profoundly affect their lives. Charles held on to his assumption for as long as he could, but he knew that he had to tell Olivia the truth eventually. After much deliberation, Charles finally decided that it was time to reveal the crucial truth that would alter their perception of the situation. Charles was feeling the pressure of the situation and was having difficulty finding the right words to express the truth he was trying to convey. He was aware that Olivia was desperate for answers, and he thought that a visit to the police station might be the best way to provide her with the information she was looking for. He was determined to find a way to ensure that Olivia got the answers she was looking for, and he was willing to do whatever it took to ensure that happened. As they walked, Charles was filled with dread, knowing that the answers they were searching for could change their lives forever. Olivia was taken aback as she entered the police station, searching for the two officers who had previously requested her identification. To her surprise, they were nowhere to be found. She was just beginning to feel a sense of confusion when Officer Henry approached and called her name. "Olivia, I'm Officer Henry. I apologize for the inconvenience you have experienced," he continued. "I'm here to help you with whatever you need." Officer Henry explained that the two officers from before were wrong to let her stress. Relieved by the agent's trustworthy attitude, Olivia cautiously entered the room where two other agents were waiting. The police officer handed Olivia a contract which stated that the information about her cat was to remain confidential. She hesitated for a moment, but then resolutely signed the contract, curious about the hidden details that awaited her. After the contract was signed and processed, the officer returned to the room and sat down opposite Olivia. "I'm sorry, but your cat had a severe reaction to something inside your house," he said, his voice heavy with regret. Olivia frowned, her brow furrowing in confusion. "What could have caused such a reaction?" the officer continued. "We weren't sure what could give such a reaction, but we knew it would be something illegal and dangerous. After receiving the search warrant, we went inside your home and quickly found the source of your cat's reaction." Olivia listened with anticipation. What could this source be? "Soon after we began our search of your living room, we discovered a branch tucked away beneath your couch. This branch was from a very special kind of tree, one that is only allowed to be grown in certain areas due to its poisonous nature. It's likely that your cat had stumbled upon it somewhere and decided to bring it home as a toy. We were amazed that it had managed to find such a rare item and bring it back to your living room. Olivia couldn't believe what she was hearing. She had never heard of such a tree before. "But where could my cat find such a tree?" she worriedly asked. She feared this would happen all over again. "We searched the area and found one of your neighbors was illegally growing a bunch of those trees," the officer responded. Olivia was astonished. "We dug out all of the trees and found the neighbor. This will not happen again, I promise," the officer assured Olivia. This was all a lot to take in. Suddenly, she feared for her cat's health. "Is my cat poisoned? Will he be all right?" The officer quickly got up and left the room, leaving Olive alone with her thoughts. She felt a wave of despair wash over her as she thought about the possibility of losing her beloved cat. The officer returned shortly after, and Olivia could see the happiness in his face, which immediately put her at ease. "So, what did you find out?" she asked, her voice full of hope. "I spoke to the vet and he said that your cat will make a full recovery," the officer replied. "He'll need to stay at the clinic for a few more hours, but after that he'll be able to come home with you." Olivia was overjoyed at the news. She thanked the officer profusely for his help and asked if there was anything she could do to repay him. A few hours later, Olivia received a call from Charles, the vet, informing her that her beloved cat was ready to be picked up. She was overjoyed to hear the news, as it came at a perfect time. She had just finished cleaning up the mess the police had left behind, and was now able to focus her attention on her pet. Without wasting any time, Olivia raced to the vet's office and was delighted to find her cat in good health. She was relieved to have her pet back home, safe and sound. Grateful for their safe reunion, Olivia enjoyed the serenity of the moment and cherished the simple joy of being home with her beloved companion.